Hello again. He was already sitting there, so I just decided to leave him there.
And I'm a Marvel fan too. So
yeah, Marvel. Marvel.
Wait, stop. That is completely. I'm a comic book fan.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
one of these fanboys who sits there and argues DC's better than Marvel. Marvel's better than DC. Fuck you. It's a comic book movie with characters in flashy outfits beating the crap out of each other or bad guys. Fucking deal with it.
That's an even description. We are comic book fans, and we've been watching Daredevil. We haven't had a chance to see all of Jessica Jones or Luke Cage.
Fuck you, George Clooney.
Except and not really gotten any chance on Iron Fist, but we're trying to catch up as fast as we can. And they've got the Defenders trailer, which we're gonna check out here and everything. It might get us back on that super hype train to start watching this stuff again to catch up, so we can see this as well. Because
we're behind. We're only
Netflix has been killing
season
it.
1 of Daredevil, so
Netflix has been killing it recently. So
well, apparently they killed Iron Fist because the reviews on that haven't been too generous. So.
Although I did receive a couple comments where people were like, Iron Fist is actually better than what people think. So I guess only time will tell on that one. So let's check out the Defenders.
You have interrupted a citywide investigation. You stole evidence from my crime scene.
No.
And you got my one lead killed.
Sorry?
I was trying to help him, but you didn't.
Jessica Jones, stop talking.
Who the hell are you?
My name is Matthew Murdoch.
You could have said Daredevil.
How does being Harlem's hero allow you to live an actual life?
Right now, I just want to help people.
I think there's something that you need to meet.
What are you doing in there? Who are you? Who are you?
Ouch.
You can't be hurt. What's the deal with that fist?
Ooh.
I'm the immortal Iron Fist. You what?
You're on the same side.
Immortal.
Four. The devil of Hell's Kitchen. The smart-ass detective.
We got a problem?
The righteous ex-con. And the kid with a glowing fist. The war for New York is here.
Oh god, Sigourney Weaver.
So get your shit together.
Oh, sick.
The more connections you have, the easier it will be to break you. You look like an idiot.
Let's go. We make quite a team.
No.
What are you talking about? Bulletproof. Blind ninja. Whatever it is you are.
Classy.
There's no actual plot given. It's
Yeah,
just
there's
an
no
introduction
real
of how
plot.
the team kind of comes together. So,
True. There's no plot whatsoever. Plot is just thrown out the window for, hey,
love
look.
the fact that Sigourney Weaver's in it.
Anything with her, basically.
Ask anyone who knows me, and the one thing that I am is a fan of the Alien franchise.
Ripley.
Excited about Covenant, by the way. But so Sigourney Weaver in anything since I first saw her way back in Alien, she does great in just about everything she does. So I have no problem with her being in it. Kind of wondering about
Who she is?
Yeah, because I'll be honest. I mean, being a comic book fan, I know a lot of different things about comic books, but I've never really. There are certain things that were just staples for me. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man were
X-Men.
X-Men, things like that. So
More of the obscure characters. I myself didn't even read that much either.
Daredevil, always liked
Did
Daredevil.
read Daredevil though, so basically Daredevil is the only one we know completely about. You know, I mean, I know stuff that I've learned about recently and everything, but I didn't even know who Jessica Jones was until the TV series.
Yeah, I mean, these are characters that have been in the comic books, but to be honest, you know, as a comic book fan, I haven't really picked up too much in the way of comics over the last 10, 15 years or more or so. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
And then you got the
any
digital
recent
comics, too.
developments and you know, so
I mean, I keep up to date for like major crossovers and stuff, or when they decide to wipe out stuff and everything like that. But you know,
it looks fun.
It does look.
It's going to be kind of like a mini Avengers.
it looks like it's gonna be that Arrow, Flash, Supergirl type crossover thing where they crossed over the 3 shows, and even after watching that trailer, you really didn't get a feel of what is about, because even one scene they're playing video games, but you get nothing. And in this, the only really plot they give you is the reason why Daredevil meets Jessica Jones is because he decides to represent her as her lawyer.
Which fits the character.
Which does fit the character, but then Iron Fist and Luke Cage, you know, so there are questions that need to be answered, like the Cloak and Dagger and everything. It looks good. It does look interesting. So far, I have all faith in Netflix and on Disney's Marvel behalf right now. They really have not done anything except for getting rid of Avengers Alliance that has really upset me or made me worry in the slightest.
You know, there is kind of a balance tipping, because one of the things that DC was always good at.
No Punisher, though.
Well, you know, that may change. He's got his own series coming out. They haven't really released a trailer that I'm aware of for that.
No, not yet. They're still working on it.
And to be honest, again, like I said, we've only just gotten through, you know, we're behind the times on a few things.
I've caught a couple
we haven't
episodes.
even gotten to watch the full second season of Daredevil yet, which we're going to be remedying.
Yeah, I know. Put your pitchforks away. We're working on it, okay?
So, but the whole thing is, DC, historically, was amazing. Their animated television series,
They still
animated
are.
movies,
That they're
were
still
amazing.
pumping out today.
Yeah, but movie-wise, with the exception of the original Superman with Christopher Reeves,
Batman.
and the original Batman movies, with the exception of
Of Forever and Robin.
yeah,
Batman Returns, you still gotta admit, it's
ineffable
fun.
movies. And by the way,
There you go.
ineffable means that which we will not speak of.
I know that, so
I'm
we'll
just
just
making
call
sure
it the
your
Joe
vocabulary is
Schumacher era.
The nipple era. Anyway.
Or the nipple era, or the bat era, bat butt
nipple
era.
Okay.
Bat butt era.
Anyways, so but the whole thing is, historically DC was killing it as far as they had their core movies with the Superman and Batman franchises that did pretty well for the first two. It's ironic. The first 2 movies of Superman were great. Second 2 movies of Superman were like, okay, they must have had Stephen King with a line of coke because it was around that time, deciding, hey, we're going to do a Superman movie.
And then, of course, you got the Batman. First 2 were decent. And then
first 2 were decent.
Forever.
And it's like, I know, we'll put nipples on the bat suit.
That was until Batman and Robin, but they did show Val
It'll be
Kilmer's ass.
fabulous.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
But the whole
But
thing
Forever's
is,
still got some good points, good things about it.
right. But it wasn't until
But-
Nolan came along and kind of redeemed the Batman series, and there is the debate about Man of Steel, which we're not getting into right now. But
Definitely not.
Marvel, on the other hand, for the longest time, if they released a movie, it was,
Punisher.
at least
Punisher was-
DC in the
yeah.
movies tried to stay true to the characters to a certain extent, where Marvel, it was like
Captain America.
We want to do Captain America. They stayed true to the character, but it was this dumb outfit with this shield that
They didn't
was
really stay
clear
true to the
with
character
red
either. He
and
was
the
just a
stripes.
regular guy who got into a car accident and he got put into a procedure. There was nothing about him being from the past or anything. And
super.
they gave him a
And
fucking
the-
clear
The
shield.
music was cool for the series, and it was in a van and a motorcycle with a shield on the motorcycle, and it was just crazy. And then Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. I mean, you can't even really consider that a Punisher movie because the only where his skull appears on the tip of it, or the hilts of his freaking knives that he uses, that he leaves
Yeah.
behind as a signature. Every
Yeah.
superhero has to leave a signature behind whenever they take down a bad guy.
Marvel
Yeah, and
got
it's-
their stride a little bit later on.
Yeah,
You
and
had the
now-
2 Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
and that, but they still were.
Now DC continues to kick ass as far as their animated films.
Oh hell yeah!
There's the debate on whether or not their films are actually worth a damn, and they're still getting back into that stride.
Movies
Where
aren't
Marvel
horrible.
has now, over the last few decades, killed it in the movies. Their animated series just don't seem to have as much of a high profile as the DC material.
Well, they kind of do now. I mean, I've seen some of the newer stuff. The new Guardians of the Galaxy on Disney XD and all that, which are good.
And in TV, DC
And
killed it too.
but but right now DC ain't really got nothing for it. I mean, they had the animated series stuff.
One of the
Then
best.
they went to the Batman, and then they also had Beware the Batman that didn't even make it. They got the new Justice League action going, but besides that, the only other DC thing running right now, cartoon-wise, is Teen Titans Go.
The only thing historically you can look back on Marvel with anything that would be considered a television series that did phenomenally well was the Incredible
X-Men?
Hulk.
Oh, live action
Live
TV
action
series?
one.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk. That was the
There
longest
are other
running.
live action TV series.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, cringeworthy. I watched it when I was a kid growing up and thought it was awesome until I went back and decided, you know what? I loved this as a kid. Stan Lee's crazy. This is a great television. Holy shit, what the fuck was I thinking? Were my parents like sliding LSD into my freaking Lucky Charms in the morning? Christ, what the hell was wrong with me? So,
Lucky Clovers. Copyright.
whatever. Anyways, but, the Captain America aforementioned television series, Doctor Strange television,
Oh,
all
God.
of these failed.
Doctor Strange didn't even get the TV series because the movie is what failed.
So, for the longest time, Marvel didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Really?
Disney kind of takes over, and they start making deals, and now it's been, for the most part, flawless. Yeah, there's still that formulaic thing that they go through.
And some of their movies are a little weaker. Thor 2, Iron Man 2. They got some weak movies here and there and everything.
But they're still, even their weakest efforts still have some entertainment value.
The only people who are really suffering on Marvel's behalf is the ones that Marvel doesn't own. X-Men isn't doing too bad.
Yeah.
X-Men had a few bombs. And Fantastic Four just can't seem to get a break
To be
whatsoever.
perfectly honest, I really did enjoy the first Fantastic Four movie.
I did too. It
The
wasn't
second
horrible.
one was like, you took way too many liberties there, and to be honest, the only way that I actually saw the Fan Four Stick, as it's called, was through just watching it get slammed on CinemaSins. Free plug. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
After watching what they detailed through CinemaSins, and yes, I know he put clips in and details of that way, but you still get a general idea of the movie that way, and I'm like, thank God I dodged that fucking bullet.
I'm gonna have to end up watching that at some point. I know it.
But yeah, unfortunately, so am I. Just for the posterity of it, I'm just gonna probably need to save money back for a proper therapist by the time I'm done. But
There's a couple of painkillers. Yeah.
painkillers my ass. Just take a fistful of downers out of the bowl before you watch the movie.
True.
Not that
So-
just add to the depression. So,
Actually, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Disney Marvel has been a hot property so far. So
They've been
this
killing it.
looks like it will be. Just based on the trailer, it looks like it's fun. It's not going to, there's some dark elements to it, but at the same time, the dynamic between the characters, the way they bounce off each other just within the trailer looks really good. Like I said, it looks like a mini Avengers, where there's some
Yeah.
humor thrown in, the conflicts between them, so a couple of whoa moments.
Yeah, and
like
it
when Iron
works too
Fist
because they
socks Luke Cage.
Have their previous shows already that have established their characters, unlike some things that they just threw them right in there and you've got no establishment whatsoever and they try to make it work and it doesn't.
So, I mean, it looks like they're kind of
And they
going-
don't give you that much in the trailer anyway, but Marvel does really good with that
Yeah.
by not giving you so much in the trailer, but turns out to be really great. And then DC gives you a lot in the trailer and doesn't
so
turn
it's been
out
mediocre.
to, do what they need to do. So I would, it has some of the greatest stuff that I'm wanting to get to watching, and I'm hear that is amazing. So I give it a 9 out of 10. Not a full 10 out of 10, just on the fact that all they give you is them joke, this and that,
We're
and
together now. Oh, we're a team. No,
we're a
not.
team, we're not a
No.
team. Let's go do this. We got to do this. Oh, we're gonna do this and that. And it's
And props for having Sigourney Weaver in it. I mean,
Yes.
usually,
Yes.
that's what surprised me when I saw the trailer. I hadn't read much in the way on the Defenders because
they didn't really release much either, though. Too.
it's one
They
of those
kept it
things
nice
where I
and
heard they
quiet.
were doing it, but because we've only ever watched the first season of Daredevil, we've been busy. I really, I wasn't really reading a lot of the news and everything on what was going on with the Netflix series. And so it actually came as a pleasant and, actually a very pleasant surprise to see Sigourney Weaver. And that's shocking to me because you do not always see actors or actresses who have established themselves in the movie, in the movies to where they step essentially down into a television role. And let's,
Kevin Spacey, House of Cards.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey, House of Cards, things like that. But it's still, there are those, there
It
are
is
exceptions
rare.
to the rule. It's kind of rare. Usually you see a television actor
Make
more
it
often
to
not
the
step up
movies.
to the movies.
Chris Pratt's one of those.
Not usual to see a movie actor step down into a television role. And there are
True.
those rare ones that do both constantly, effortlessly. Don't ask me to tell you who I can think of off the top of my head.
Nathan Fillion.
Okay, yeah, Nathan Fillion. He's been back and forth movie and television. Well, not really.
Yeah, he
I haven't
started
seen
in
as much.
Firefly and Buffy. He actually does have movies he's done.
I haven't
And then
seen
he went
much.
back into television with, his one show, Castle, and all
But
that.
so, really happy to see that Sigourney Weaver's in this. I mean,
Just don't know what character she's playing. I didn't catch a name or anything.
so I don't know if it's something they're doing with, exclusive to the series, or if it's something that is based within the actual lore of the Defenders. Because again, it's not something I'm overly familiar with. I've not read any Defenders comics or
Sure.
any.
But this is a good
storylines
thing
on
too,
that.
is we are still getting solo seasons. This is just like a special couple episodes event, kind of like what they do with Avengers, and then they'll go off on their separate ways unless they got to come back together again. Now all we need to do is, get some other characters in their own Netflix series that would probably do better than that and everything. So overall,
Honestly,
excited.
if Marvel really kept going with the way they're going with the television series, I mean, we've got what we have now, plus Cloak and Dagger coming out, which I'm really excited for.
On a different channel, we got other ones that they're planning on doing too.
I mean,
I would like to kind of see Ghost Rider, to be honest. Marvel has the rights back to Ghost Rider, and he did appear, one version of Ghost Rider did appear in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, and he'll be in the final episode of Season 4 as well. But I would actually like to see a Netflix series. Netflix on the reason because Netflix knows what they're doing with the properties with Marvel's help. And could you imagine a Ghost Rider Netflix series?
yeah. And Marvel so far, and it's been brought up in
And
other
Fantastic
reviews
Four.
from other people and other critics, where Marvel so far has shown themselves very, very adept at taking what are essentially obscure
Yeah,
properties,
obscure characters.
storylines. They're not, they didn't initially jump in and
Howard
automatically
Duck.
go, no.
Actually,
I mean,
yes.
Okay, the way they kind of pulled it off in the Guardians of the Galaxy, fine, but I don't know if that would be something they'd be able to pull off as a full series or its own movie. Howard the Duck, the original one, is long enough in the past to where the memory might be washed out of people's mouths on that one. So, but
I have to watch
I
that one.
honestly, one property I would like to see because I remember when the first issue came out, I picked it up and I really enjoyed it. There were some elements that kind of copied over from other storylines, but it's really hard to create new superheroes nowadays without kind of borrowing elements. I would like to see Darkhawk. I would like to see it in some capacity, an introduction to that character. I really enjoyed the character. I thought the stories were good. Later on, they weren't handled as well, but and I kind of lost touch with that storyline after a while. After it kind of started to derail a little bit. but from what I understand, they brought the character back in limited runs and in other properties and handled it better. I would like to see what they could do with something like that. I mean, I really enjoyed that character. Yeah, so, I mean, something like that.